sad. You certainly hope that in this kind of circumstance, you want to see leadership, you want to see strength. The CEO should be stepping up and embracing their country and not taking...
It's a personal responsibility.
Yes.
They don't hide behind the lawyers.
Well, I think that Japan will teach us a lot in the aftermath of this, and some of it will be social reform within their own industries.
Yeah. Folks, you must have heard that India passed its budget, but it was bad for NRIs, which is people like us who go to visit India.
So we should just clarify. NRI means non-resident Indians.
Not required Indians too sometimes. But basically the budget passed certain laws which are economical blows to the tourist, you know, from here. For instance, air travel tax has gone up. NRIs now pay more when they buy their air tickets to travel within India. I mean, it's like 5,000 to 10,000 rupees. I mean, that's a lot of money. And then for medical treatment, same thing. They have raised the service charges. Of course, you go to the hotels. As an NRI, you have to pay more. You go to the historical, you visit the historical sites, you have to pay more than the regular Indians. There has been an appeal by the GOPIO, which is the Global Organization of People of Indian Origin, is requested Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, look, don't do this. We are good for you. But treat us like a client. Treat us like a customer. Treat us like yourself.
Well, I can sort of see the motivation for why the Indian government would do this, because a lot of the NRIs are the ones that are earning 10, 20 times what the average Indian earns when they're going abroad.
But you're creating a class system. Well, that's not good.
Okay, that's the flip side of it.
Yeah.
That you do end up creating a class system. But then, is it really fair for an NRI who comes home with $1,000 in their pocket to spend freely because they're on vacation to pay the same price as someone, you know, for whom 100 rupees is a lot of money to enter into a museum? I thought
you were democratic and you were capitalist. What is this all of a sudden? Are you communist or something?
No, I'm just simply saying that I can almost understand why the Indian government would do this, because we as NRIs earn 10, 20 times in foreign pay what the average Indian earns at home. So we have far more ability to give.
Let's see, the same statement that you just made is being made by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Because you guys make more money, so you need to pay us more comparing to our own people. I think that makes sense. Maybe that's why this law came.
Well, hold on. If I'm a museum owner and I have a certain cost of upkeeping that museum, and my ticket prices have to be very high to support that, which is a price that a lot of my fellow Indians who are countrymen can't pay because it just eats too much into their budget, why wouldn't I try to make that money with people who I know can afford it, which would be the NRIs?
None of the museums are owned by people like you. They're all owned by the government. Come on, you know.
That's probably true.
Let's move on. Some of the other things that GOPIO wants is, look, visa has become a problem. You know, there are a lot of people that really love India, want to go to India. They have family up there. There are emergencies. There are other things. But the new system does not allow for that. The old system allowed for that. No more. A passport's life is 10 years. Well, it's been 30 or 40 years when someone has left India and became a citizen of another country, and these guys are saying, bring your old passport.
Yes.
We need to make sure you surrender it.
Now that I do think is a little ridiculous.
You need to have affidavits. You need to, you know, there are just so many turns and curves in that visa system.
This is the kind of stuff that makes
GOPIO is asking very simply that, look, you need to make it simple. You need to make it foolproof. You need to make it so that everybody understands and everybody pays the same amount.
This is where you breed corruption. And I think these kinds of practices are not called out until organizations like this point them out and make it public knowledge, and then we all band together and make a statement, and then finally the government moves. If they keep doing this, they are just preventing, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because they're preventing people from coming in freely, and having that free exchange between the countries can only help India.
One of the other things they talked about is, you know, many of us want to invest in India. We want to buy houses and the others, but you can't get a proper title of insurance. You don't know whether you own it or not. Yeah. You know, if you want to sell it, it should be a quick sell, but it is not. So GOPIO is going into all of these things, which I really think
they're very strong.
I mean, they're doing their work for them. You know, go ahead and follow that up. So if this show doesn't go to India,
it should.
But it's a plea. It's a plea to the Indian government to please listen to GOPIO and install some of the user-friendly suggestions that are there, so that we get to come back to India and enjoy it, spend our money in it, or even invest in it.
We are a very substantial population now outside of India. The NRIs that you're talking about, they are over 30 million across the globe. So you can imagine there's a lot of dollars there that could be spent if you made things easier for those 30 million.
They have to be user-friendly.
Yes, they do.
That's all I ask for, you know.
Well, change is coming to India, even though sometimes it can be painfully slow and painfully shocking when we talk about change, simple change. How's this for a headline? Improving women's status, one bathroom at a time. Yeah, there are parts of India where bathrooms are just hard to find. There are no public restrooms if you are really out in the sticks, in the rural parts of India. And this is a real problem for women. Even when they do exist, they mostly cater to men, but not to women. So in India, there are new campaigns that are starting. This is encouraging. In states like Haryana, women are demanding toilets, especially when they're getting married. There's a new campaign called No Toilet, No Bride. Basically, you cannot engage into a nuptial agreement even if you're being arranged into a marriage. Now the wife's family, the bride's family, will ask the groom and his family, do you have a functioning proper toilet in your home? And if not, you're not eligible as a candidate for my bride to be. And this is actually working quite well. There are many families that have taken this on, and you know this is a real problem, because only 4 in 10 government schools, according to certain data that's been collected, have functioning toilets for girls. And this strongly influences the ability of these girls to go to class or to go to school. The families don't want them going without those kinds of facilities in place. So I think that if India can help, if the government can step in and help to build, especially in schools and in public institutions, even in these places that are far out, it will do a lot to advance the cause of women. But I love to see that the people, the women themselves, have banded together, and they've gotten smart. And they've basically said, why would I marry you if you can't provide for me the basics, the fundamental basics?
More power to them. You know, I've heard of a lot of organizations that are going around and helping children. They're opening up schools and others. But I haven't heard of anyone saying, look, I will just provide you the bathroom.